Hello friends! Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be doing a flip through of all of my June after the pen spreads here in my catch-all Frankenplanner system. I'll be walking you through my mid-year setup as well, kind of explaining some of the changes that I'll be making, along with going over what I did for June and getting that into storage, all that good stuff. So you guys can see the process that I do and then also see what changes are coming to my planner. So hopefully that is what you're here for. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're able to catch the premiere, I will be on live chat. So do check the chat. Feel free to drop any questions you have as I'm going through my planner into there, and then I'll be on and be able to respond immediately to any of your questions. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. Okay, so first off, we have this cover that I recently DIY'd in my summer refresh. It is a freebie, so if you like this cover, do check out my summer refresh, and in the video description, you'll find the link to the freebies. But it's a nice layered laminate cover. And then I have a project, a DIY project that I made last year that I just really loved and thought I would reuse again this year with the pocket pages. I do have a video showing you guys how to make a pocket pages if you can't find them store-bought, which these are really hard to find nowadays, if at all. Happy Planners stopped selling them, and then, yeah, they're really hard to find. But anyway, so I did this DIY project, and I do have a video on that. I can link that down below, or if you're on the chat, I can send you the direct link immediately if you're interested. I also have my DIY sticky dash here next, and this guy I just recently refreshed with some newer stickies. Kind of liked this yellow for summer, so I brought in a little bit more of that and just gave it a little bit, like I said, of a refresh on the front. And then on the back I have a lot of eraser shavings. I mention this almost every time because I do a lot of erasing in my faith planner, so the shavings sometimes show up in random places in my planner. Anyway, so this has two pockets. It has a pocket on the back, and it has this fold-out pocket, which I'm currently using for my book reading list. These, again, are another freebie. If you've never seen those, there's a video link to it, kind of showing you how to set it up. It's from a while back, but it is on my channel, and I can give you the link if you're interested. Just shoot it in the comments or in the chat. Anyway, so that's my library card. So next we're going to get into the main sections of my planner. These side tabs are the main, like I said, sections of my planner, repeating myself. So all of the content of my planner is divided up into these 6 categories. We've got inbox, goals, productivity, schedules, which is where we'll talk about all of the after the pens here in a second. And then at the very back we have a reference, and then collections, which is a underused tab at the moment, but maybe filling that out or making some changes. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do just yet with that tab, but I have that in the back. We also have a top tab system and a bottom tab system, and I'll just kind of explain that once we get to it. But for the most part, these main sections are, holding big chunks of my planner setup. So my first planner section is my inbox, and this is just a DIY cover I made. This isn't available anywhere, just in case you like those. I haven't given those out, but if you're interested, just let me know. Maybe I can get those into my shop at some point. I also got these dividers. A lot of people will kind of ask about those occasionally. These ones here are from Amazon, and then my top tab ones, I'm using ones from Live Love Posh, and then the bottom ones are also from Amazon. If you want these dividers, I will link them down below in the description, along with other pieces of my setup, just in case you saw something that you're interested in. Just check the video description. There should be a lot of links regarding my planner setup in there. Okay, so this first section is, like I said, my inbox section. This is a layout in my shop, and I honestly have not really utilized this year. It's a really great holding place though for when I am ready for tackling some of these tasks. You start by putting your tasks here as they come in, and then when you're ready, you can move them along the process using the getting things done method in order to get things done. So I basically use this for things that are immediate. They're more like could be done in the future or more long-term type stuff. And that way, if it comes in, I can put it here and then I don't forget about it, and I can always revisit this when I'm ready to tackle some extra projects. So that's what I'm using it for. And like I said, I haven't really used it. It's been a busy year, lots of things going on. So I just have them there ready to go for when I have a little more free time. I also have a fresh set ready to go that I haven't filled out. I had planned to migrate this one over from 2023 into like a 2024 version. Hasn't happened. So you can kind of see. And there are other pages in that insert setup that might be useful to you as well. There's lots of variations. So it's not just the ones you're seeing here. I only print the ones that I like and need for this section. Okay, so next we have my goal section, which I've been doing a little bit of work on recently. I have my DIY annual kind of vision board. This is the cover page with my word of the year, and then I have the vision broken down into categorized goals that I may want to tackle throughout the year. Then I have this quarterly page that I've created for all 4 quarters, and I've already filled out the first 2 quarters, and we are now into the 3rd quarter, which I recently just did a video on talking about the setup. Breaking everything down by time-based systems has been really helpful. I used to do a review of my quarterly goals as well. I've let that go for 2024 only because it is a little bit more time consuming. However, I do look over these sheets, and before I start the next quarter or the next month, as you'll see later down, I look at the past month, kind of revisit anything that didn't get done or maybe things that were hindering it, kind of review it more in my mind as I'm getting ready to set up next quarter. So that review process sort of happens. I just haven't been doing it on camera this year. But if you want to see a review process, I did do it all last year, with the whole sheet, writing things out. So that is available if you just kind of want to see how you might go about assessing and reviewing your own goals. So those pages are set up and ready to go. And now we're into my productivity section. This section, again, I have done a little bit of work on for 2024. I did a morning routine a little bit earlier in the year and set this up just to try to help condense my morning routine. It usually takes me closer to 3 hours, but I'm trying to get it to this tight 2 hours. Some mornings it works, some mornings it just doesn't. I don't know if I'm just sluggish or there's little things that pop up and kind of like derail my routine. But it is nice to have this check off and by time too, to keep me on track when I am having a good morning or when I think that I can get it done in those 2 hours. Because that's really the goal. I want to spend a ton of time in the morning doing random stuff. Really just want to get things done and move on to the next step. I also, on the back of this, have a block schedule, which is a little bit of a different way to go about creating a routine, but this breaks up your day into blocks, and then you can kind of do anything in the individual sections during that time frame, and then you move on to the next. So this is kind of why I really wanted that 2 hour morning routine. It really just, like I said, it starts to creep into my exercise block or my, like activity block, and then it just trickles down to the day. So the most I can get done in the morning and the more succinct I can make things, the better. Also, too, something new that I'm going to be doing for the mid-year kind of setup is moving my time blocking schedule to this center spread of those 2 time blocking sections. So my plan is here, I was using an hourly planner and doing this on the weekly where I would time block out my week, and then as the week went, or as the day was done, I would go back and actually fill in what I was doing that day. So even if the The time blocking is kind of like a pre-plan, and then what actually happens is what I would fill out on the sheet, which again, you'll see in after the pens as we get to those. So I decided that it is helpful, and I did it for 6 months. It really gave me an idea of how much time I'm spending on what things, and, just gave me a better vision of how much time I need for other things as well. Since I did that already, I've decided that I want to go back to a different layout instead of doing hourly filling, because it got a little bit tedious going back and filling out my day. Even though, like I said, the information was valuable, but there was a certain point where I really didn't need the information anymore, since I kind of already had a good idea how long things took. So then it was just more of, it was just inefficient, I guess, at that point. Once it stopped being helpful, it became inefficient. So what I decided to do is I'm going to design this to kind of coordinate with the themes of the front and the back, with the branches and the colors here. And then just use this same spread over and over each week to pre-plan out the week. And I'm not going to worry about filling anything in. I'm just going to use these sticky notes that I made previously and just continue doing that. If things get off track, I can easily move things around and get things back on track. Or if something doesn't get done on one day, I can shift it around really easily and just get a really good idea of how I want to spend the time for the week, in order to make time for the things that I want to do, like goals and fun and, just other things as well. That's my plan at this point. So I have it set up for this first week of July, and I'm using an alternative layout, which we'll get to when I get there, for my tasks, writing down my to-dos, tasks, appointments, events. Because of that, I have this clear sticky dash that I made a while back. This was the DIY project, so it's a little bit kind of rigid and a little more fragile than these other ones that I bought online. I've decided to flip it, make the tab be on the bottom, so it'll be easy to turn to this page when I need to see how my day should progress and just to keep me on track. There's not really any other bottom tabs in my planner except for at the very back in my reference section, so it's pretty far up front and shouldn't interfere with those other tabs. That's the plan so far. So I'll probably do a setup video just kind of showing you how I'm setting this up. Originally, I was going to do a master plan list where it was like an ideal week, and I think this is just going to be a better use of my time because my weeks vary from week to week. There's, what I need to do on one week won't necessarily be the same on the next week. And even though you can kind of generalize, I think this is going to be a better way for me to utilize this spread. Okay, so enough about that. That's one of the bigger changes that I am making though in my mid-year setup. And then, of course, I have a few other items here in this productivity section. This is my Kanban board for my portfolio site. This is just kind of lying in wait until I'm ready to tackle that project again. And then we move on to the next big section, which is my schedule section. In my schedule section, this is anything that is a dated planner. Some of these I need to have tabs for to touch every day, which is kind of my tab system. I do have an in-depth video on this if you just want to know more about how I flow through my planner and recommend tips and tricks to make going through your planner each day a little bit more efficient and organized. But anyway, so like I said, this is my schedule section. We start off with my year planner, or basically the annual pages of my planner. Most of the planners I'm using are inserts from my Etsy shop. So again, if there's anything you see in here that you're interested in, check the video description down below. I usually have links to pretty much everything I'm using at the current time, and that should guide you to those items in my shop. So at the very front, at the year at a glance tab, the first tab here, I just basically have the year at a glance and this freebie I gave away in my planner setup video at the beginning of the year, which is just an important dates and holidays insert. I printed it on vellum so that it can kind of easily be in here as a nice layering piece and give me the holidays at a glance. This next spread is my year habits spread. So I have a tab for it, but it's already moved into the July section. So this was how the first half of the year went. I use this mainly for self-care goals that I was working towards at the beginning of the year and just keeping track of that, since one of my things in my goal section was to renew and, basically become the best version of myself I could be. This setup is new to my shop this year, but it's a really great kind of like habit tracker, annual habit tracker, especially if you're tracking the same things month after month. You can kind of see at a glance like how your year is going. I've definitely improved a lot on going outside, my AM PM skincare, mainly because I started at the gym in May, and it's really pushed me to get out of the house every day, get ready, get dressed, be presentable, shower, you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting sweaty, I've got to shower. So things like that. It's really been helpful for me to get to those steps that I needed to, because when you work from home and I'm in a new place as well, so I don't have any friends nearby, it's really hard to get out of the house. So going to the gym every day has really helped me with that, and you can kind of see it in the habit trackers as well. So there, I've got that, and then I'm all set up for the July month. The next section in here is my yearly future log. This is a really great spread. It helps me future plan in my Frankenplanner because I only keep a month or so at a time in this planner of all of the different sections in my schedules section. So if I need to plan something out in advance more than just a month, this is where it goes. And then when I'm setting up the month to come, I check this and add anything in that needs to be added for the month. And you can kind of see how that works. I have a key here, and I do have a setup video if you really want an in-depth video on this as well. So I can color code whatever is coordinating the color and the date. I put it down here. It's just a nice system. Okay, so the last thing in my year planner is my year memories tab. And for June, basically, I do a monthly spread where I just write in a memory each day. I've really loved it, but I started out a lot more, light, just a simple highlight, and then it's grown into this summary of the day, which I don't think I necessarily need. It's not as cute as I want it to be, and it's, kind of dense too. So it is good to really get down into the weeds if, I'm looking for something specific, but that hardly ever happens. I just kind of want to get a feel for how things were going in this general time frame. I also do a setup video on these, so this one was a really cute one. I tried a flow through, which I hadn't done before, mainly because I tend to like to have all the room in this planner to put in all of the memory keeping, basically, that I want to write in my summary. So this was fun, just trying something new. A little bit hard to work around in some areas, but for the most part, not too bad. And the colors and stuff was really fun. Definitely got me ready for summer. And then I usually design the back as well. And on this one, we did the books I've read or audiobooks. Physical books have been harder to come by, or at least harder for me to focus on in such a busy time frame. But I can usually do an audiobook and something else, which is really helpful. Then I also have the movies that I've watched and the TV that I've been watching too as well. Just a cute spread, and I like this currently page. It helps me to see what I was into at that time frame. So I have July already set up, and I do have a setup video on this. I really like the cool colors. I'm excited to get into this one as well. Okay, so we're on to the next planner, which is my faith planner. And for June, I did this really colorful, like citrusy spread, which I really love the colors in this one. This like grapefruit and orange, just bright, very summery, perfect for June. This spread is the faith overview spread from my shop. It has a habit tracker section. This is where it says prayer list underneath here. So this is where you have a place for a prayer list. And then over here, you also have a currently section to check in with your spiritual life, basically on a monthly basis. These other areas are just open. So if you have some things that you want to track or put in there, you can do whatever you want. It's a nice open area. And this is the start of my faith planner. I usually will letter in a verse kind of coordinating with the theme. So this one I did a Fruit of the Spirit verse. And so that is it for the faith overview. And then next we get into my monthly overview, which is where I put in the verses that I've read that day as part of my Bible reading. And then I usually do what I call a application or a takeaway from that reading and write that into the monthly section. So I did that throughout the month. I was even able to use the cool little nifty hack here to double up on the 30th. Like to stick with a couple of colors that tie with the theme. So you'll see the highlighters in this orange and this pink throughout the rest of the spreads. I am theming out my entire month of my faith planner in one theme, so everything will match as we go through. For my weeklies, what I like to do is letter in the verse of the day. So I use an app called YouVersion Bible app, and in there is where I do my annual Bible reading plan. I read through the Bible once a year, so that's where I get the chapters here that I'm going to be reading each day. Then in that app as well, they have the verse of the day automatically fed in, and so I just take that and then do a little bit of a lettering. I've improved quite a bit over the years. I started out not very good and have grown through repetition, although I haven't done any formal training. So I do have a video series kind of talking about how I approach lettering if you want to know just like my process and how I've evolved. But let me know in either in the comments or in the chat, and I'll be happy to send you that playlist if that's something you're interested in. So this was how the first week turned out, and here is the second week. I really enjoyed these colors, even though the orange was a little bit brighter than I wanted it to be. I felt like it still was very pleasing, and I just alternated the pink and the orange every day so that it would have a little bit of variation on the week. And here is how the third week turned out. Another one that I think had some good ones. Some of them weren't as, creative, but it just depends on the morning how creative I am. And this was the last week. Yeah, this one I think I was struggling with how to bring some color and life into some of these verses. So I tried some different things. Some I liked, some I didn't. I don't think I really liked this one very much, but this one wasn't so bad. And that is basically it. The last page I ended up using as a weekly check-in with how God is working in my life. So this I've done a couple of times this year. It was a suggestion from one of my viewers because I wasn't really utilizing this page in the last year or so. So I really wanted to kind of finish out the planner every month with something here on the back page. I've been doing that as well as gratitude, and I've tried a couple of other little things, but those are the two that really stuck. The gratitude and the reviewing how God's working in my life. So that's what I did for this month. And that's pretty much it for my faith planner. I will go ahead and move it out now that we are done. And I will put it into its own kind of storage planner, which is this one here. I moved my monthly cleaning insert into this section here just so that I would look at it every day. I only have one side that I need to look at for this faith project tab, so it makes it easy for me to kind of look at this before I move on to another section versus if it was buried somewhere else. So I'm just kind of putting it here because I can utilize this tab to make sure that I look at it each day. I made this, I think, either last year or maybe even the year before that, this cleaning list. I really like it, and I've been using it to check off all of the, household duties that I need to do, along with on the back, I have like more annual stuff. I did reset this guy up for June. I had kind of left it in April and May because, like I said, we were moving during that time frame, so I really wasn't utilizing it. But now that I'm getting into a routine, I set it up for June and it did pretty well, I would say, with keeping things on track. I need to wipe it down, so usually I'll take a little bit of alcohol, clean it all up, and then reset it for the next month, which is what I need to do still for this. So I will do that off camera when I'm done. And then like on the back, I went ahead and refreshed it for the new place that we're in and have started marking off some of the things I've tackled already for more annual type items. So anyway, it's living here. It used to live in my productivity section, but again, I wasn't really looking at it on a daily basis, so I needed a place where I would see it every day. Okay, we've moved on to the next planner, which is my health planner. And here I am making some changes mid-year. I'll talk about that once we're done with the setup. But for the first part, we have my health overview section, which is a custom layout, not available as is in my shop, but could be customized for you if that's something you're looking for. I do have links to a step tracker insert that I have, which is just a single step tracker or like different variations. And then this is like a monthly workout, or not workout, a monthly overview page, single page month that you might need as well, that you can buy separately, but as is, it's not sold as is. So here is where I track like health habits I want to keep, getting 10,000 steps. I bumped that up from 7,000 to 10,000 now that I'm going to the gym, trying to push myself to go higher. These numbers have been way better this month now that I'm going to the gym. It's made a huge difference with my overall health and stamina, and you can kind of see it in the chart. So it's really nice that I'm tracking this. I will be going through the first half of the year in a separate video, kind of just showing my mid-year flip-throughs of my major planners, so you guys can really see the progression throughout this year. But yeah, I really felt like I made a lot of progress here in June. Also, closing my Apple Watch rings. I checked that off on my Apple Watch. I have been doing 1 meal a day fasting mostly, so I have that as a tracker. And then I've been trying to cut back on sugar and, like carbs, dairy. So I started to track how much sugar I was having, and if I had a no sugar day, if I was only eating like fruit or something like that versus something with added sugar in it. So that worked out pretty good. I also have on this side my workout schedule. So this is where I track the workouts that I've done for the month. And again, it hasn't been this full ever. So it's really nice to see that I am progressing and meeting my goals. So I wanted to start working out 7 days a week, and I pretty much achieved that throughout the month of June. I think that was actually one of my monthly goals. I got pretty darn close. I only missed 2 days out of the whole month of workouts, so that was really good. For July, I'm trying to work on adding in another strength training day. I feel like I need to have another one here on Friday, so I'm going to try to do it. I didn't really utilize this month. Just kind of went to a class and phoned it in as far as that goes because I just wasn't ready to tackle it. But for July, I'm hoping to actually add in a schedule, including on Fridays, and hopefully get that going in this new month. One thing I haven't mentioned, I haven't really done any setup videos on this health setup in the monthly pages, mainly because I just throw things together, and I really didn't like this color scheme when I set it up. It was just too colorful. So you'll see in July, I just went the total opposite, and I just went with like neutral. So we'll see if that's better. I'm going to keep it really minimal and see if I like that better, because this was just bugging me with all the colors. But once I started, I felt like I couldn't not keep it going, so I just went with it. But I'm really glad the month's over as far as the colors are concerned. This next spread, I have 2 charts. These are both available in my shop separately. They are the meds and supplements tracker, which there's a couple variations available in that insert. The one I'm using here has like an empty space with about 10 squares that you can do like a 1 to 10 scaled chart, and then just another area here where I put in like my meds and supplements that I'm taking, and then for the entire month. I also have over here my health symptoms, and this one is a big one for me. So I've been tracking it like this throughout the year. I've got my symptoms, my severity, and then triggers that I've identified. And I just kind of set it up as such. Really like this layout. It really does help me get a better idea of things that are coordinated with my chronic allergies and asthma issues. I've been doing this all year. Very helpful. Same with this one. It's very helpful just to make sure, I got in all of the things I want to be taking, and if, something's slacked off, do I see changes with, if I didn't take certain supplements, do I get worse? Do I get better? That kind of thing. So it's nice to have them next to each other and correlating. So that said, that is the health. I call this my health wellness spread since I don't really have a name for it. But this would be in replacement of like a monthly spread. So this was my first week in June for my health planner, and I'm using the lined vertical layout from my shop. This one was super fun. I had recently got the travel sticker book that Plaything released. I think it was part of her subscription, if I'm not mistaken, and did kind of like a travel around the world, but like with a food emphasis. And this was just a super fun one to be in. Colors were nice. I felt like the overall vibe was good. I'll talk about what I track here on the next one, but that was the first week. The second week, I don't think there was a plan with me on. I just decided to do a nice kind of colorful gradient across the spread. I really loved this. Definitely more fall colors, but I wasn't mad at it. I thought it was a good spread. I just really liked the vibes. So what I normally track is my workouts. So you can kind of see those in the hexagons here. I'll also track my food, so a food log, and then the stats, my health stats. So those are the main 3 things I'm tracking every day. So I try to fit that in on each spread. And then in the sidebar, sometimes I'll give myself some goals for the week or just some reminders to think about as the week progresses health-wise. So this was the next week. I think there was a plan with me on this. It was fun to mix in some of the more vintagey style stickers and washi that I have with some Happy Planner stickers. Thought this one turned out really good for just kind of throwing it together. It is a lot of gold though, so that's one thing that I talk about sometimes, that gold's not necessarily my favorite because sometimes it can get to where you can't really see it. You see it in certain angles. So that's one downside to the metallics, but overall, from your vantage point, it looks really great. You don't see any like reflections or anything like that. But again, I'm tracking the same thing. So each one of these has my workouts in the boxes. I have my stats and the food log goals on the side. So this one just wrapped up, and I did not do a video on it. I don't even think I posted a before the pen on this. This one I just threw together. I felt like some summer bright colors and went with this. I think it turned out pretty fun. Very simple, but it works. And there is, again, more like foil going on here. This one, there was some silver kind of mixed in with these stickers, so I ended up playing up the silver. And like I said, I think it works with the theme. But again, tracking all the same stuff. It was a nice way to use up some of these box stickers because I have a ton of those from the Happy Planner, and it's not something I normally gravitate to. Prefer die cut stickers way more, so box stickers hardly get used, so this was a nice way to kind of just use them up and make something fun with them. And at the very back of my health planner, I have a fasting hours tracker. This is also available in my shop as a standalone insert. This one I'm using just the 12-hour one because I do 1 meal a day fasting, but it's really helpful because it's really hard to calculate the hours, to try to do it in your head. So the way I have it listed out here, I have like the start and stop times, the start and stop. Yeah, start fasting, stop fasting times, even though they span multiple days, and that it makes it a little bit easier for me to actually calculate my fasting hours. So I like this chart a lot. The one that's the 24-hour one doesn't have the space for the notes, so just something to keep in mind. And the 12-hour one really works well for me. But total fasting hours, I'm trying to get to 20 every day. So anything that's highlighted is over 20 hours. And there's a few days where I broke it early, or I just had to have a snack late in the evening because I was, hungry or, I don't know, sad. I don't know. You guys know comfort food sometimes. It just has to be done. So I give myself grace, but I was pretty consistent. Usually the weekends is where I kind of broke because, influences from my husband makes it a little bit harder. But overall, that was how that turned out. Okay, so let me move this guy out, and I'll talk about what I'm going to be doing for the next half of the year. This is the health planner. We'll just drop it in. Like I said, I'll be doing something a little bit different in my health planner for July and quite possibly for the rest of the month, or rest of the year. So everything else in the front is going to be the same. You can kind of see the neutral approach I'm going to be taking. Haven't done much in here except for a brief setup. But for the layout, the weekly layouts, I'm going to go back to my health layout where the water tracker's in the sidebar and then it's broken out into 4 categories. I haven't done this one in a couple of years now, so I thought it'd be fun to go back to it and just see what I can come up with. I was just getting a little bit bored with the lined vertical layout, so let's try something new and we'll see if this works out well. It will give me a little bit more leeway too with my stat stickers, so I'll probably be pulling back some ones that I made previously in previous years and using those and remaking those as well. So just a heads up, that's one of the changes as well that I'll be doing for the next half of the year. One other thing I have in my health planner is this setup here, kind of paper clipped to the health trackers tab, similar to the faith project tab that I showed before with the cleaning schedule on one side. This one I'm using because there's the fasting hours I will have to touch, but there's nothing else I needed on this other side. So I'm combining that with my kind of annual stats, measurements, and weight tracker. That's what's in here. I have my measurements and weight inside, and then here I have my monthly stats. So this is the compilation of all of the individual daily stats you were seeing on the weeklies here in a monthly view. Okay, so that is my health, and now we're going to move on to the last planner we'll go through, which is my agenda planner. So again, this is another planner that I'm making some changes in. I kind of alluded to that in the beginning with my productivity changes in time blocking in the front. So you'll see how I've been doing it, and then I will show you what I'll do for July and the rest of the year. So again, I do theme out my monthly pages in this planner as well, all in the same theme. Really loved this theme. I think it was a combination of some Live Love Posh stickers and some bright, fun washi from Planything, and then also some mixed media as well. A really fun one. This month overview is again more of a custom item, although you can get the monthly goals pages separately, as well as the month overview separately as separate spreads, but not together like this. So If there's anything that you guys see that you want, again, you can always ask for a custom item. That said, I have some habits here that I've been tracking. This is where I mainly track my goals setting and just more like personal growth type habits I want to keep track of. So like making sure I'm doing my goal tasks, freelance work. I always like to have an idea of how much freelance work I had because that usually affects how much time I have for other things. I have my audiobook time, and then keyboarding, which is only got one day last month, which is really sad. I need to really keep practicing that because I find myself reverting back to looking at the keyboard constantly, and I really want to get back to touch typing the way I had kind of progressed, but it's really hard when you are so used to doing one or the other, so I just need to keep practicing. Also, too, I have my month to-do list, which here I made some changes and moved some things up another month that didn't get done, and also got some things done, so I checked those off. And of course, I have my monthly goals. I do a setup video on these. A few I missed in the beginning of the year, but for the most part, I always do a monthly goal setup video, so if you just kind of want to go along that process with me, I will show you how I do that in a video each month. And then the monthly layout is really just used for events, appointments, birthdays, things like that. I don't have a ton going on, but what I did start doing this month, which I really liked, is putting in some of these milestone dates I had set for myself and my goals on this sheet. So like organizing things that I had planned to organize, I set it out for these days to make sure that I was thinking about, oh yeah, I need to get that done this week. Same with some other items like starting nutritional eating habits, trying to get in a 36-hour fast. I tried last month. I just couldn't get it done. So I'm hoping to do that in July. So that's how I've been using it. It's been helpful just to see a little bit of extra stuff on here, specifically for goal setting. And now we have my first kind of hourly grid layout. This is available in my shop if it's something you're interested in. I haven't done a plan with me on this. I don't think I did more than maybe one last month. So all of these should be fairly new to you. This one I just went really colorful and pulled out some random stickers, and I actually liked it in the end, but these are definitely not stickers I would normally gravitate to. But I think in the end it turned out pretty good. Definitely has like an India feel. I don't know why, but it makes me think of like a hot India summer. Maybe because of I think these are like maybe leopards or jaguars. I don't know. It could be a jaguar, but a leopard over there. And the colors. But anyway, long story short, this is how the first week turned out. Let me move on to the next week and we'll talk about my setup. So this one, same colors. I guess I was in the warm citrusy colors. I did just a simple border with some florals from one of the Plaything sticker books. Yeah, this was just a simple. I was definitely in the border phase too now that I'm looking at it. I think I was getting kind of tired. I had a lot of work and I just did what came natural and didn't overthink too much. But anyway, I used this for hourly planning. So the planning you saw there in the front, I used those time blocking sheets at the beginning of the week, and then as the day was done, I'd go back and actually fill in what I did. So that's what you're seeing here in the main section, the time hourly section. At the top, I use that for the day's to-dos, and that's pretty cleanly set up. I also have my work hours. I was tracking that for a while just to see if I was ever going over 40 hours a week. I definitely felt like I was doing that more in the past, but now that I've been pretty consistent with, getting out of the house to go exercise every day and, taking breaks and all of that, I think it's been good to see how much time I'm actually spending on things. And then again, the this week to-do list as well is here for the sidebar. Okay, so this one I think I may have done a plan with me on. I really love these colors, the teals, the cools with the black outline. That's totally my jam. So I love those colors, but it got a little bit hairy scary over here. especially in this corner where there really wasn't enough room to put in what I needed to put in. But for the most part, I got it in. Basically the same content all there, and I mixed the same colors, kind of pulling from the greens and the blues from the stickers, which these I think are from Live Live Posh, if I'm not mistaken, and put those in the center. So a good spread, I thought, very black and white, two-color spread. And then this was the very last one that I did, but this was from one of the newer Plan Anything sticker books, and I really liked the colors in this one as well. The color combination of kind of like the sea colors, the sand and the sea blue, I think those always look really good together. The tan and the kind of softer blues. I actually use a little strip sticker. Actually, it wasn't a strip sticker. It was like a box sticker, kind of like this. And I cut it into strips and used that across to make it almost like a washi that matched. That worked out really nicely. Pretty much everything else is the same except for I didn't do my work hours on this week just because really there wasn't enough room. And that was the last one for the month. This spread here is my social media spread, again, kind of themed in that same monthly theme that I had going from the start. And this is where I track my followers and subscribers, as well as any, growth metrics that I want to track, along with some of the to-dos I like to do on a weekly basis that are related to social. And then here is where I pre-plan out my social media schedule. And things usually don't go to plan, so I use a lot of sticky notes and kind of pre-plan this one as well. And that works out fairly well. And I really, again, like this theme a lot. There's nothing on the back of this. So that's pretty much it for my agenda planner. So let me go ahead and move that out, and then we'll talk about what's to come in July. Okay, so let me go back and show you guys what we're changing up in my agenda planner for the weeklies. So the monthly pages are staying the same, but for the weeklies, I am using a horizontal planner. I had a free Happy Planner horizontal planner given to me at the beginning of the year for 2020, well actually last fall for 2024, and I decided at the very end not to use it because I really wanted to focus in on my hourly planning and getting things kind of dialed in schedule-wise. So I had it sitting on my shelf for half a year at least and decided that I missed it. I missed doing horizontal planner spreads. So I decided to bring it back. So I'm actually using a Happy Planner insert for this, or Happy Planner for this horizontal one. I'm also using the monthly. Let me took this out. I'm going to put it back in. So I already preset this guy up for this week, which is Independence Day, 4th of July week. So you can see it's very colorful. And then I'm also using the monthly from that planner as well. So as you know, the Happy Planner monthlies are connected to a divider. So what I ended up doing is just cutting off the divider tab, because I really hate when the tabs interfere with my organizational sections. So I just trimmed it off, and then I stuck it down to my monthly overview and goals insert so that it looks seamless. And I'm using the monthly just because it's already there, to not waste any more paper. I might as well just use theirs instead of printing out my own. One good thing about this is that there are holidays on the monthly. Sometimes I want holidays on the monthly, sometimes I don't. So it is kind of nice. I'll see if that comes in handy so I don't have to actually write it in. Specifically for this more like scheduling type monthly layout. The front is the same, set up all in the same monthly theme. But like I said, I was just going to go into the Happy Planner horizontal. So this is where I'm going to do all of my tasks, my appointments, my events for the week. Then I will have my tab here at the bottom so I can check throughout the day where I should be in my progress as far as time blocking out my day, and then go back and check this off. I played around with doing like a half sheet and doing the time blocking on that. It just didn't work, or doing like a tip in where it like would fold out. But I really like seeing my spreads as a whole in completion. I don't like to have things intermixed in them for the most part. The only one that I think I work well with a insert like this is the bucket lists, because like I said, the monthly is something that I need to reference throughout the day, every day. It's more of a like a weekly setup to see what's coming up, and then I add that to the week. So I don't need to have a full picture of the month all at once on a regular basis. So that works for that. But for the weekly, I do like it to just be kind of clean and just the 2 pages of the week. So gonna see how this works out. I plan to use the horizontal throughout the rest of 2024 and just doing the time blocking, like I said, on that tab. If that doesn't work out, which I don't see why it wouldn't, but if for some reason that doesn't work out, we'll revisit this in a couple of months and make some changes. But overall, this is what we're going to be working with for the next half of the year. Excited to be back in a horizontal. I know a lot of you came to this channel because you were horizontal planners and vertical didn't work for you. So if you've missed my horizontal plan with me's, there'll be some coming to get you refreshed with some new ideas for how you might want to use them. Unfortunately, I didn't do a plan with me on this. This kind of got thrown together at the last minute, but I think it turned out pretty fun to give you guys some ideas for how you might use your planner going forward. So anyway, long story short, that's what we're working with for 2024, next half of the year. The last planner in this section is my finance planner or my budget planner. This is a printable from my shop, along with a couple of little add-ons. At the very front, I have a perpetual calendar, which is basically just a long list of daily items divided by month, and that's where I put in my daily sales from Etsy. And then I have a finance month, finance expenses tab, and then an annual section where it gets into like individual accounts. So if you really want to know kind of how this is set up, I do have a budget planning video. Again, you can reach out in the comments if you're not able to find it on my channel, or in the live chat if you're joining me for the premiere, and I will get you the link. Okay, so that is the first 4 major sections. The next major section is my reference section, and here is where I keep my long-term storage. No main changes to this. I have themed it out with that summer refresh. So you're going to see the theme kind of continue through as far as the summer seasonal theme here in this section. I just made some dashboards. We've got a vellum overlay along with a dashboard, cardboard dashboard, and then this section. So the first section is my personal section. This here is where I just keep like all my home project stuff, anything that's just more of a personal item that I want to reference. That all goes in there. Then I have my business section, which refers to anything in my Etsy business. And again, I have a vellum and a cardstock dashboard. Then we have my work tab, which again, another layered seasonal dashboard setup. And then finally my social tab. And again, that's anything having to do with social. I just put it in there if I need to reference it for later. So this last section was meant to be a collection section. It is not really working out. I haven't had the time to fill it in. I really wanted to do more like reading type inserts, lots of DIYs for this. But for now, it's just a placeholder page, hoping for some some DIYs to add in there, some fresh inserts. And there is a pocket folder themed out in the summer theme. Really, actually, this brings me a little bit of joy because I keep forgetting that I made this pocket in the refresh. And I've had to come back to this a couple of times recently just because I have some work stuff in here. And I was like, oh yeah, it's themed out, it's cute, it's fun. So it's really nice to have that in there and added as, just a continuation of the theme. So I have that along with my DIY pin loop stuck right on it. More stuff on the back, but nothing to worry about. But again, I am using that. I love that it's themed. The very, very back, I just have some loose note paper in various styles, although I think it's mostly grid now. And when I had the pen loop there, I started to rub, so this page got kind of messed up, but the rest of it is good. And then we have my back cover. So again, this was a DIY and is available as a freebie if you want to recreate this cover for yourself. And that is it, you guys. Ugh, that was a longer one this time around, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I was thinking about doing like a mid-year setup refresh video, but I basically kind of talked about it all. There wasn't a huge amount of change in my planner setup, so I think we're just going to do it like this, and that should be sufficient. But you'll see some changes as far as like my Plan With Me's, the different layouts I'll be using. And also you can kind of see my time blocking. I'll talk about that next month as, I kind of get into it and see if that's really working out or if I need to modify things, and I'll explain what I'm doing if I do make changes there. But overall, that is my plan for 2024, the rest of the year. Look out for my mid-year flip-throughs of all of my planners so you guys can see what I've done this year so far and get some ideas for your planner all kind of condensed into one video. I think those are really nice when you just want to get a bunch of ideas. You don't need to know the specifics. You just want to see some decor. Those videos are great for that. All right. Thanks again for joining me. Anybody who was able to join me on the premiere, I really appreciate it. And if you were able to chat with me, thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye!